Who have we
Hi.
got in there already?
Hi.
We've got Naomi. We've got Dan. Oh, Dan was the first one in.
Was he?
He was
Ooh.
doing a cheeky little dab. Can you do a dab? Do a little. No, not going to do it. That's it.
Oh,
you got to do it like that. You've got to, well, I can't see. Can't see my other arm, but it's like
I'm
that.
too squashed in to be able to do it. But I'm sure you get that idea.
Yeah, but we've got the Hermit's Cave. He's in here too.
Oh.
We've got Patsy, Luna, Ange, Elaine, Jessie. We've got, oh my God, there's loads of people already. It's Stephanie. We've got Sandra, Juliet, Jonathan. Oh my God, there's my chat's just jumped, but hi everyone. there is loads of people.
It's because the little notifications just dropped down. I've just seen it in my screen saying the Tara Times is now live.
I'm just looking for mine, then I can see the chat.
Yeah,
right,
we've had a nightmare, haven't we?
Oh, leaping ruddy lizards. I've gone grey. Poor Becca, a shell of a girl, glided me like head in her hands. Simon's not replying. I need a code. I don't know how to get on the email. Oh, it was
yeah, pretty awful. But we got there in the end. It's Virgin's fault, not our fault. Virgin has let Simon down with his connection.
So the issue is you need to have a laptop, and Elle doesn't have a laptop currently. Becca's got one, but couldn't get access in. And my internet is down. So we managed to connect. It was about an hour ago, wasn't it? We connected and was chatting, talking through everything. And then the internet went again. So I'm like, well, now what do we do? We're out of options. And then I sent them a message saying it's back on. And they both replied with, but for how long?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so we don't, we're hoping that we'll be good to go. But if we suddenly disappear, that is because it's intermittent across most counties of the UK and Ireland. And even Elaine, who's in Ireland, in another country, is having issues with Virgin as well. So it's a national thing, and even in Ireland. So we'll do our best, but if we disappear, we'll have to rearrange. But let's see how we do.
Yeah, so we will be telling you about all the upcoming mass market decks, indie decks, the Kickstarters for May, and then doing a review of the Wizards Tarot that Becca is mysteriously missing.
I tried twice to order it. The first one, I ordered it as soon as we decided last month, and it didn't come. And I emailed them, and they sent another one out, which only dispatched the middle of last week. I cancelled that one because there was no chance of it getting here by today. And I've just had an email to say, we've dispatched your Wizard's Tower. So I am getting it, but just not. I haven't got it now.
Yeah, and that just made me laugh. Dee Dee's like, doesn't Richard Branson know how important this is?
Exactly.
Someone get on the blower to him. Think you get. But yeah, so we're doing that, and then we've got a fancy new point system that we'll be unveiling on how to review the deck. So stay tuned. And then a giveaway of, where is it? Okay, where did I put that? The Hush Tarot. 2 copies of the Hush Tarot. Mine and Simon's favourite deck. We'll be going to one of these lucky people.
So the way the giveaways are going to run is if any of us or all of us don't like a particular deck that we've chosen to work with, then we will give it away the month after. However, if we all love a deck, there won't be a giveaway. But decks that we don't like, there's no point keeping. So somebody may as well benefit from them. So we're going to give them away. So this last month, as you remember, neither Elle or I really gelled with the Hush Tarot after working with it all through February. No, sorry, March. So we're giving ours away. Becca really likes it, so Becca will be keeping hers, and that's how the giveaways are going to work. So how many did we have as an entry, Elle?
We had, where is it? Where's my book? We had 23 in the book.
Okay.
That's entered.
And to make it fair, we have Sandra, who is the 4th person involved in the Tarot Times collaboration channel, to draw those names. So she doesn't know names, she just knows numbers. So she's going to be putting 2 numbers at the end of today's broadcast.
Sandra's just said there's 23 in the chat. She said 23.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Thank you. Wisteria says we're adorable. I'll take that.
Well,
I'll take adorable.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm happy with that. Thank you.
Good much.
Okay, so shall we kick off?
Yeah, let's kick off.
So we envisaged to be on for about an hour. Now, last month we was here for 2 hours. We don't think we'll be that long, but last month we had the month prior and the month ahead. So we're always going to be working on the month ahead now. So we should be on for about an hour, if that's okay with everybody. And we're going to start off talking about mass market decks that are due to be released. So the first one is due to be released, and this is, when I say due to be released, we're talking UK release dates, being as the 3 of us are located in the UK, and Sandra, who's the researcher, is located in the UK. So the first one is a re-release, and I'm actually fortunate enough to have the original copy, but the Gilded Tarot, the first tarot deck by Cero, I always get his name wrong, Cero Marchetti, that's how you say it, Cero Marchetti, is being re-released on the 1st of May, which is Friday, isn't it? It's this Friday. We're in May already this week. So it is going to be published by Llewellyn. So what we will be guaranteed is a better box, because Llewellyn now do the lovely boxes. This box is the old flimsy box. We're also being promised an updated book, which is again is going to be by Barbara Moore. This one is also by Barbara Moore, but it's going to be updated. Now, Llewellyn have been doing really nice glossy colour images with their books, as you'll see when we come to review the Wizard's Tarot. So this is quite thin, and there's not a lot of images or anything in there. So it is one of their most best-selling tarot decks. So that is why they're re-releasing it. I edged mine. These are the backs, or as they were. And we all kind of know Chero's artwork. That's upside down. You know, and I think I've got quite a few of his decks now. And I think you either love it or you don't. But and it's a bit of an acquired taste. But I really like. I've got Tarot Dreams, and I've got the Tarot Deluxe that Jen brought when she came over to the UK. They're going to refresh the artwork as well, which is quite interesting to see what they do with that. And the cards will be borderless this time. So on these ones, you can see they have these borders and like these coloured gemstones around the edges. That one's in ruby. So they're going to be borderless going forward. And it's going to have a more contemporary look and feel to the cards. And, you know, it will follow the RWS system, so no change in there. Medieval magicians, priestesses, emperors, and knights. So yeah, so that's coming out on. If there's anybody in the room in the US that's already got it, then you know, let us know, share your thoughts. But over here in the UK, it's due to be out on Friday.
And then we've got the Yogic Path Oracle deck and guidebook, but this is being re-released in a keepsake box set. So it's about accessing your yogic intuition and it's got 54 coloured cards with a full colour guidebook this time, whereas I think before it was just black and white. Oh, and it's foil embellished, so all fancy, with magnetic closure and lifting ribbon. But yeah, I think there's a few people in the chat that I know that do have this deck. I don't know if Marsha's here, but I feel like Marsha's got it, maybe, or am I just making that up? But yeah, it's just the re-release. It's by Danielle Noel and Rose Ketaby. I hope I'm saying that name. By Sahara Rose Ketaby. I hope I'm saying that name right.
I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah, and it'll be released the 7th of May 2020.
So that will be a week on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. And we was talking, weren't we, yesterday when we was planning for this? May seems to be a month of re-releases. It looks like a lot of publishers are looking at what decks have been quite popular in the past and re-releasing them with some sort of update or refreshed, whether it's a presentation box or now going borderless or a better book. And we were saying, I wonder if things gone a little bit more quiet on the tarot creating front other than Kickstarter. Maybe.
It could be, because the next one, which is the one I've got, is the Star Tarot. So this is the second edition of the Star Tarot that is coming out, which is by Kathy McClelland, and its release date is the 28th of May 2020. So I do have the original one, but I have trimmed it. I'm going to show you a couple of the cards. But it says that it's exploring new sections linking numerology with the major arcana, along with astrological references, 3 added spreads to the book, and larger artwork on the cards, which I'm really glad about, because this is actually a really pretty deck. It is very glossy. It's a really pretty deck, but some of the images, that's one of my favorites. Some of the images are very small and quite busy. So I, for one, will appreciate bigger cards, so you can see more of the detail on the deck. But yeah, it is a pretty deck. I do like it, so I'll be interested to see what that edition is like. It looks nice.
And it's interesting because Becca didn't know and was just talking again before we went on air, and I said, "No, I've got it too." And we've both done exactly the same thing. We both took off because they were humongous borders, and actually they're still quite a nice large card. That's my favourite. I think the Temperance card in this deck is absolutely stunning. And there's so many beautiful images in this.
It is.
The Hermit, I adore the Hermit card. Oh yeah,
bright colours. Unfortunately, I trimmed off the I trimmed off what cards they were, and with this deck, it's vital really to have them on, because there's not some of them. There's not a lot to, there's not a lot to give you what the actual card is. I like the star card as well.
Yeah. I actually think that I will buy this deck in its new format, because if they're promising larger cards, I think they'll probably make them like this, but in the larger card. Box has always been lovely. It's one of these that you see with, well, who is this one? Is it Schiffer? Yeah, Schiffer, red feather, with the ribbons at the side.
Mm.
And look at the inside of that box. How beautiful
is
that? And it's
the book is good, isn't it? The book.
It's very good. And, a lot of people give Schiffer a bad press, but I actually really like the packaging and design of the decks. They're really, really good, sturdy ones, like Mary L and things like that. So I will be rebuying the new version of that.
Yeah, I think I will too. I do like it, but it just needs to be bigger, and they're doing it, so that's excellent stuff.
Yeah, and thank you, Jackie, for putting links in. Just before we go to indie decks, we just wanted to mention as well that last month we talked about the Star Spinner tarot, and we were saying about the date being uncertain. The latest we've heard is that the Star Spinner tarot will be released now on the 22nd of May. That's going to be by Chronicle Books. We did mention it last month, and we said we would update if we got more information on that. So because we knew that the date was being pushed back, but we wasn't sure till when. Latest information for the UK is that that's going to be released on the 22nd. So just to give you an update there. So indie decks then, and these are ones that we've seen on Little Red Tarot, which is our UK-based supplier of indie decks. And Beth, big shout out to Beth at Little Red Tarot, because she makes it so easy for us to escape custom charges, to escape excessive amounts of shipping and everything else. So big thumbs up to Beth. And I've dealt with her recently over an issue of a missing card, and the way she handled it and her customer service is second to none. So I just wanted to give a big shout out to Beth at Little Red Tarot. And the one I'm going to talk about is The Way of the Panda. And I think it is one of the most beautiful and cutest decks. I've never really always been into cutie, but ever since like getting things like the Rabbit Tarot and one or two others like the Little Bix Tarot, I'm really starting to enjoy them. But The Way of the Panda Tarot is by Kimberly San, and that's spelled T-S-A-N. And it's the Dream edition. And the illustrator is Celia Libel. It is a RWS inspired deck. So when you do see the images, it's very familiar with RWS, but you see the panda taking center stage as one of the archetypes. So it's a reimagining with the panda as the archetype, and it's seen through the perspective of pandas as well. There are vivid scenes of nature and elements of magical realism. But what I really, at first when I saw it, I thought was a lot of white space, a bit like, perhaps like the Line Strider, where you get a lot of white space around the image. But the paintings themselves are done in beautiful watercolors. And against that white background, they're really beautiful cards. You get 79 cards in the deck. So the extra card is called Dream Space, which I quite like. The card stock is really nice. It says that it's going to be 350 GSM, so that's good quality card stock. And it's going to be a smooth matte lamination, which big kudos there. And the deck will come with a little white book containing 74 pages. And we call it a little white book, but it's actually like a little mini guidebook. There will be a larger book and cloth. A larger book, spread cloth, and bag, all available as well that you can purchase separately. So those people who want to buy add-ons, they can. And it's a bit like, something like the Shadowlands Tarot, where at the end of May you can buy a nice bag for it, or I don't know, something like Nicoletta Ciccoli, where you can buy separate merchandise to add to it if it's a favourite of yours.
Yeah, and now we've got the Danielle Knoll again with the Star Child, and it's the first edition republication. I think a lot of people prefer the first edition, so I bet there's a lot of people that are very excited for this. This is expected about in May or June. It's kind of to be announced. So it's going to be on 400 GSM cardstock with the white borders still. Or they're going to be matte antique gold. So that sounds very fancy. The book and deck are in a 2-piece box, and you can choose from a turquoise box or a new rose colour. Yeah.
I can't imagine 400 GSM. I'm wondering what kind of thickness that is. But
Moonchild, is that? Or
yeah, Moonchild is very thick. I'd imagine it would be. But yeah, and I just wanted to mention as well, Jessie said, and I just thought it was brilliant, when we was talking about the Panda Tarot, she said, I brought the Dream Space original painting for that additional card for she's put amongst others. That's amazing. And Jessie, would you glide me and show me? I'd love to see that. Very thick, says Sandra. Yeah, 400 GSM is really thick.
Not very good for riffle shuffling, then.
No, it isn't. I do have Star Child, but for me, there's quite a lot of decks that tick my box now for that. And it does. I'll come on. Becca's going to talk about the next one, but then the deck I'm going to talk about, I'll explain, because it's of a similar ilk to Star Child, really.
Okay, so my indie deck is the Intuitive Night Goddess Tarot. It's got 3 days to go on Kickstarter when I checked this evening. It's created by Lindsay Silverman of Eye of Astro, which is, she's an intuitive healer and artist based in Brooklyn. So it's a digital collage and drawing to create a language that tells a story of what the tarot means to her. And it's all nighttime scenes, lush nature, animals, magic and beauty, with goddesses standing proudly, fiercely and wildly amongst them. It is absolutely gorgeous deck. Very, very different. So yeah, it's got 3 days to go. If you want to go over and have a look and give it a little back.
Okay, cool. So what was the name of that one, Becca? Sorry.
That's the Intuitive Night Goddess.
Okay, so we're on to Kickstarter, aren't we? And I've been forgetting to put the title up that what we're actually. So these are Kickstarter decks now that we're talking about. So yeah, the one that I'm going to mention is the Ascension Tarot. It's by Danielle Norman. The Kickstarter campaign ends on Sunday, which is the 3rd of May. And its estimated completion date is August 2020. I have had a look at this, and if I'm honest, I'm not keen on it. The reason why is there's a lot of decks out there at the moment that I feel tick this box. It's very similar to Star Child, Moon Child, even a bit, like the Moose Tarot. It uses a lot of the same colors, like pinks and blues, and of course it's that theme because it's Ascension, and I just it just doesn't appeal to me. But that doesn't mean it, these decks are popular like Star Child and Moon Child. But it brings you into a universe of traditional and non-traditional archetypes, animals and other dimension symbolism. And the creator, Danielle Norman, says, I wanted to create a deck that not only explored the traditional tarot archetypes, but that expressed ideas around the ascension process and the holographic world in which we live. I wanted a deck that expressed the concept that there is magic everywhere, and even in places that you cannot see. And that we do not live, and that we not only live in a 3D universe, but one that is made up of a multitude of dimensions. There are messages everywhere that you look, from the animals you see in your day to the weather that meets you at sunrise. And it's nice, but it's not my aesthetic, because I have got a couple of those decks and they are more than enough for me. But if you like collage decks, if you like those soft pastel tones like pinks and blues and lilacs, and that sort of kind of ethereal look to it, then I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. So Ascension Tarot is meant to be used as a healing tool as well as a trusted guide for your own ascension process.
I've seen a few people laughing at my mug. I don't know. United, what was it? United Nation of Tarot. I don't know why they're laughing.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like on my face or something, or don't get
I've
it.
got filthy minds, that's why.
I should have got mine out. I should have got mine.
Oh, please.
I've got two. I'll send you one each.
But the next one is one called the Uncover Your Past Lives Oracle. It's really interesting. It's an 80 card oracle deck. I'll see if it will let me show you a picture because it's kind of hard to explain. But can you see that? It's a round deck and it will have a subject on it like herbalist, and then it will have 4 like subjects coming off that, like herbalist or faith healer. So it's trying to discover your past life through this oracle, which is quite interesting. I think I remember talking with Jen about this, so I don't know if she's backed this deck yet, but I will say that some of the subjects, I mean, you can't be squeamish or maybe a bit of a trigger warning. It does get quite dark. Like, someone did a walkthrough. It might have been Nina from Shuffle Tarot. I think she's like 5 cards in that just came up with like childhood trauma, sexual abuse. Like, all right, steady on. But yeah, it seems quite interesting. I think it'd be interesting what that's like when it comes out. I think it's expected the campaign ends in 11 days and it's expected in July. So yeah.
Okay. So also we've got the Witch's Familiar Runic Oracle cards. Now again, this is one that I'm excited about. I haven't backed it. I'm going to hopefully wait for it just to go on Etsy after I've got too many Kickstarters backed and I've really drawn the line there. But it's by Athene Noctua. I think that's how you pronounce her name. It ends on the 14th of May and its estimated completion is July. And I really like this deck. Now, earlier on my channel, I talked about runes and witches' runes. And the rune systems I was talking about in particular was the Elder Futhark system. And this is Elder Futhark system as well. So the Witch's Familiar Runic Oracle. Oh, I've got some back interference. Can you hear it?
Yeah, no. A little bit, but it's fine. Don't worry.
Okay. It's a deck of 24 cards, so it's, one for each of the runes in that Germanic rune system of Elder Futhark. It's inspired by beautiful animal companions, so you do have your witches familiar, like a cat, a snake, an owl, etc. And they're really quite nice. I do like the look of the cards. You've got your witches familiar, then you've got your runic association as well. And it says each embodies the meanings, the qualities, and energies of the various runes that they have been chosen to symbolize. And Athena, or Athene, is also the creator of the Crystal Ball Pocket Oracle. And the deck is also pocket size, which is quite interesting. This comes on 350 GSM with a protective matte laminate and a sturdy two-piece black box with foil printing. Sounds nice. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. I've got the Mushroom Tarot by Chris Adams. It ends on the 14th of May, and it's estimated to come out in September. There was an edition before this. It was just a major arcana. I can't remember if it's just black and white or colour, but I remember lusting after that, I think like a year ago when I saw it, but I'm not really into majors only, so I'm really excited that there's going to be a full deck with 3 myco guide cards in colour. Isn't it mycology called mushroom studies or something?
Oh,
I just thought the mushrooms looked kind of cool, so I don't really know much about them, I'm afraid. Yeah, and yeah, that's all I've got. It's a mushroom deck. Go buy it.
If you like mushrooms, get it.
yeah, absolutely. And also, you've got the Gothmancer one, haven't you, Elle? You're doing that one straight after mushroom.
Oh, Becca's slotting in between with the new
Yeah,
one.
she slotted me in between.
You've been mixing things up while I've been away.
Oh yeah, I've been slotting
I-
things in left, right, and centre without
When
you.
you went straight to uncover your past lives, I was like, oh, we've jumped a page, I'll go back. That's why I did.
I thought you were in the loop, but your phone was in the bedroom after all,
Yeah.
charging. Okay, so the deck that I've got next has got 21 days to go on Kickstarter. So you've got plenty of time if you want to go and have a look at this one. It's called the Lux, and I'm not sure how you pronounce this, the Lux X Umbra Tarot. And that is Latin for light out of the shadows, which I really like the sound of that. So it's universe mixing with black shamanism, astrology, and symbolism. And the deck is by Pauline and Bruno, and they're two French artists and co-founders of Creative Studio Magic. And again, this one is photography and digital art that has archetypal images, symbolize the various stages of an initiatory path derived from Neo-Platonic philosophy. So, you know, when I read that, I thought, gosh, that's going over my head a little bit there. But don't let that put you off, because it is a really pretty and quite simple deck. And I really liked the concept of the title, for light out of the shadows. I thought that would be a very interesting deck to work with in those times that we have where we're feeling pretty dark.
Yeah.
And yeah, to have a deck that guides us forward into the light sounded really good. So yeah. Nice.
And then I've got the Gothmancy deck by Stephanie Alia and Daniela Effie, and it ends on the 19th of May, and the estimated completion is July. I backed this one, and it's all about goth subculture, and it's all about so alchemy, music, archetypes. Let's see if I can whack out an extra image or something on Kickstarter. Oh, and they've also got, releasing with it, there's an option to get their Oracle deck, which is called Oneromancy or something. And that's all about alchemy and healing and things too. So see if I can get a picture up. So it's quite cool. It's got all the gothy vibes.
Oh.
Yeah, and then there's been a few people, famous people, who I'm not really that much in the loop about the goth stuff, so I don't really know who they are, but people seem to be very excited. So yeah, I'm excited for that one. And the Oracle deck, I backed the Oracle deck too. Yeah.
Lovely. And the final one? Oh, we had it. Mr. Legend, have you done that one?
That's you.
You changed it. It's Becca.
Oh, it's Becca.
No,
No,
it isn't. I don't have the legend, not on my list.
That's what we agreed yesterday, but don't worry, I can cover it.
I've just got the star, the intuitive night goddess, and the other one.
Okay, so Fantastic Myths and Legends Tarot and the Egyptian Book of the Dead Tarot, both by J.S. Moore. So they come together. It ends on the 19th of May, and the estimated completion is October 2020. So this is 4 artists that have come together from all around the world to create this unique project. Each image will pull from various mythologies from around the world as well. So it's really bringing these kind of mythologies together through 4 different artist perspectives. It purports to be unlike any other tarot deck, and it can have the major arcana cards removed, so you can play with the minors like any other card games like poker, rummy, or bridge. You can choose to receive either just the Fantastic Myths and Legends book, Fantastic Myths and Legends and previous successful Kickstarter, the Catharsis Tarot, or the Fantastic Myths and Legends and Egyptian Book of the Dead Tarot. So you get those options of what you can choose to receive. Fab. How's quality? Is it holding up?
I mean, I'm looking at it on my phone here, and it looks really good.
Okay.
You'll find there's a little bit of issues with the sound sometimes on your end, but it's fine. It is what it is. We're lucky we got on at all.
Yeah, true. Okay, so then we move on to reviewing the Wizard Tarot. Who wants to start? Becca, do you want to start?
Yes, okay. Well, like I said, I hadn't got it. And then I cancelled it, but now I'm getting it after all. But I don't have it with me now. At the start, I think, because I was just relying on looking at reviews. So not having the deck in my hands kind of puts me a little bit on a disadvantage. But looking at some of the images, and then realizing that it is kind of like a companion deck to the Everyday Witch, which I absolutely love. I kind of gave it a little bit of a rough review in my mind at the start. I didn't like it at all. But having looked at it, some of the cards I think are pretty nice. I like the star card in particular. I like the High Priestess, which is really gorgeous. So I think once I've actually got it in my hands, and you know, I can get the vibe of it then. So, but the artwork for the majority of it, I really like. Yeah, that's about all I can really say at the minute, not having it in my hands.
Yeah, but you soon will.
Yeah.
Do you want to go next, Al, or?
Go for it. Not really a fan. Not really feeling it. It's all right, you know. It's a solid RWS clone to me. It conveys the system well. It's so great for beginners, but to me it's just kind of, you know, it's an RWS with some wizard hats and cloaks. Obviously the artwork's very nice, but not my thing. Yeah, not really a fan.
Yeah. So there may be a giveaway at the end.
Yeah.
For me, I think the box is gorgeous. It's the new Llewellyn box. This feels very much like a continuation of a set, a bit like what Becca was saying. You know, it feels very Green Witch. It feels very Everyday Witch. What was the other one? Witch's Tarot by Ellen Duggan. They all seem to be of that sort of ilk and art style. I don't know how, unless she's a robot, Barbara Moore is able to whip out as many companion books as she is doing at the moment. That said, we will be, as Al explained, breaking down 5-star categories for individual aspects of this deck. This book for me is lacking. I think it is beautiful in terms of it's the nice, glossy, full colour images, really, really nice, but it is so generic. There are some artwork and scenes on the deck. For instance, if I show you the moon, that I want to know what's going on, and the book tells you nothing about any of the images at all. It's just generic. It could be a book for any. So, for instance, the moon card. I mean, just what? You know, what? So I thought, oh, let's find out what this is about. And it just goes straight into keywords: secrets, illusions, deception, imagination, mystery, meaning. The moon can seem romantic, mysterious. It is generic. There is a little bit at the beginning which talks about, you know, the Tower of the Wizards, but even that starts off with before we start talking about wizards, and it takes you through tarot history, Sforza, Bembo, all that stuff again, and it gives you very little about wizards and witchcraft and warlocks and that sort of thing. And particularly when it gets to the cards, there are some images I want to know what the heck it's about, and the book doesn't do that. In terms of the artwork, I like the deck. I think it's what they have done. Now, you know, we've always complained about Llewellyn's cardstock, and we've said, you know, we've got these beautiful display boxes now. We've got really nice books, but they've skimped on the cardstock. They've improved the cardstock. The cardstock is nice. In fact, even Elle, who's a bit of a cardstock snob, said, really like the cardstock on
right,
this.
Simon.
Well, come on, dipchick. It's better. They are listening. I'm sure of it. We're getting better cardstock. So if this is a way that Llewellyn's going, I'm happy because they're ticking all the boxes now. Good solid storage box, beautifully illustrated books, and now better cardstock. Some of the images, well, we'll get on to what we like and dislike, won't we? Like we usually do. But I don't like the backs. If we're talking about the backs, they're just a bit meh. You know, they're not reversible or anything, and it's just a bit, yeah. For a back, it's a little bit too busy. I'd have preferred a nice pattern or something, or design of some sort. So, do we want to talk about our favourites and least favourite cards?
Go for it. Who's going first?
Well, I'll go first because, like I say, it's been very difficult for me. I have seen reviews of it online and on YouTube, and I'm popping onto Pinterest now. Yeah, some of the cards are gorgeous. I don't know. It's like the moon card is one of my least favorites because it, you know, it would help if I could read it. But the High Priestess is beautiful, and the star card is beautiful. Those are the ones that really stood out for me. Yeah, so I don't like the ones that look almost like one of those cartoons that you see on the TV, you know, whether it's like the Japanese type cartoons or stuff like that, where you've got very obvious digital art. And I think some of the images lose a little bit of their feeling. They just seem so like churned out, if that makes any sense. But yeah, so I'll hand it over to somebody that's actually got the deck in front of them.
Okay, shall I go?
Yeah, you go.
So I'm not really much of a fan of this deck, but I like the Six of Pentacles, but that's kind of based on, we did it in Tarot Playdate last week, and normally the Six of Pentacles is, oh snap, it's kind of a bit of a meh card. It doesn't really excite me, but I think after that Playdate, it gave a lot of meaning, and so I really like how it adds a more detailed niche subject matter and like base to the RWS meaning. So it's someone giving out a pentacle in as if it's a school, or you know, giving out their pentacle or something, you know, giving it a bit more of a base meaning to help ground the meaning and context and whatnot. So yeah, I like that one. But the cards that I don't like, these two just freak me out. So there's this one. It's like they can't decide if it's digital or real life. Like everything's digital, but then the hair, like her hair is realistic, and it creeps me out. Like, why would you do that? So there's that one I don't like. And then this one looks like a real human being with like a digital wig plonked on her head. And if you compare her face to the other two girls, it looks more realistic. I don't know, it doesn't, I don't know, it just creeps me out. I'm not gonna lie, it creeps me the hell out. So yeah, not a fan of those ones, but yeah.
Okay, so as I said, a lot about this deck reminds me of decks that we've already got in this genre of witches, etc. In particular, like I would have showed here, this very everyday witch with quite a few of the cards. It reminds me of the everyday witch tarot, even though it's the wizard's tarot. What I do love are the aces. I think the aces are stunning in this deck, really beautiful, represent the elements really well. And yeah, I just think the aces are, when you line them together, they just come out really lovely. Love the hangman. I think that is a really beautiful card. You know, we're used to seeing the hangman just hanging from a tree, but you get a complete beautiful scenery there, this apple tree and beautiful outdoor space. Love the judgment card. I think it's gorgeous. This little owl is the only thing that they're rising up to, and it's like facing their own wisdom. They're having wisdom of the life that they've led and being accountable to that. I think this is a beautiful depiction of the Eight of Swords, that sort of bound. You know, she can use the swords behind her to cut the ropes. Remember, there's always a way out of the Eight of Swords situation. The Tower, I think, is done really, really well. I think it's a gorgeous depiction of the Tower card. The Wheel of Fortune, I love it. I think that is so beautiful. When you see the colours, the beautiful purples, and it's gorgeous. And I really like the Five of Swords. I think this is really a clever card. You know, how this person who's victor, sacrifice here on this altar, and then this guy tied up, bound to a tree while he rushes away. But my favorite, and it's used as an art card at the beginning of the book as well, is the Ten of Pentacles. Look at that for family scene. I think it's absolutely stunning. It's my favorite card in the whole of the deck. I've only got 3 cards that I really don't like. The others I'm okay with, but I don't like the Hierophant. I get that it's kind of like a Harry Potter wizard school type thing, but it just seemed a little bit out of place with the rest of the deck. You know, it's a mathematician type thing. The Death card, I didn't really get. It looks like the Lovers, or something like that. Would be more of a devil card to me.
Yeah.
It's a Death card, and these wings on fire, but it's inside a building, you know, with these curtains and everything behind. Just didn't really get it. But the worst card in the whole deck, as I said, it's the Moon card. I mean, what is that? It's some sort of alien moth, or
Oh, no wonder why you don't like it.
And I just don't get what it's about. And there's nothing in the book to give you any sort of clue what this scene is. You've got the 2 towers, you've got the 2 dogs, or canine creatures of some sort. You've got your moon, but what the frig is going on? Giant sort of half bat, half crab creature. And I just don't like it. Be off. So, Al, do you want to explain the 5-star rating that we're going to introduce?
Yeah. Oh, somewhat flamboyant, clairvoyant has said the death is in a phoenix. the death card where the flames are on fire. I guess it could be.
Could be. I just don't get that from that image, though. You know, it's.
Well, I kind of thought when I looked at it, it's like she's embracing it. She's embracing death as something that's inevitable. You know, so it's like dancing with.
Oh, dancing with the devil.
You dance, but yeah, it kind of sort of like she's embracing it. And the flames represented the transformation that he's going to take her into.
We have a checklist of 10 points how we're going to rate this deck. I have to give credit to Jen and Shane for helping me with this. They gave me this idea.
You said it was all yours, didn't she?
Yeah, she did. I thought it was all your idea.
We were like, wow, that's
90% me. No, it was them. But we've got, so we're going to rate the box, book, diversity, art, readability, individuality, cardstock, backs, the value for money, and wow factor. So we'll take it slow. Don't worry, you don't have to remember all that at once.
And we're going to do that every month on every deck that we review.
Yeah, just to make it a bit more fair.
And then we'll still give the overall mark out of 10, just so that you can see how we rate the deck.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, Mike has just put in the chat. He says they say in chapter 7 that she explains every major arcana and she explains every court card.
Chapter 7.
Chapter 7, yes.
I didn't get that far. I went up as far as the card descriptions.
But then then she stops for the minors. I was a bit disappointed with that.
I ain't even. I've got after the cards. I've got spreads. Oh, chapter 7.
Oh, right. Guess I need to look a bit better.
Each of the artwork. I can't.
Chapter 7.
Yeah, it's kind of written in one big bulk text, isn't it? So you'd have to just sit and read through that rather than go, okay, here's the moon card. Let me look up, moon and go to that page. It's just kind of written as a big body of text rather than, go into that card and finding out about the image.
Yeah.
So I guess while we're talking about the book, what do you rate the book? What are your thoughts on the book?
Out of 5, I gave it a 3. I think it's a beautiful book. I love those big full-page glossy colour images to see more of the artwork and more of the detail. But I just want to be able to go to the card and also know about the artwork without having to wade through loads of text.
Yeah.
What did you give it?
I gave it a 2.5 out of 5. I mean, it's a Barbara Moore book, so it's going to be a solid book. But it could be written about any RWS book. I feel like in a lot of it, it's just very generic. I love when people and creators talk about why they chose things in the artwork and relay it back, and it just didn't really do it for me. It wasn't that amazing, but the quality of printing and whatnot, is really good. So, but 2.5. Or maybe 3. Maybe I'll be in a bit horrible. 3. We'll go for 3.
And we skipped box, didn't we? So what did you give the box?
The box, a 3. It's decent box. A typical kind of, new typical Llewellyn box, like with magnetic. I'm not really a fan of these big boxes, but box. All right.
I give the box 4 out of 5. I do love Llewellyn boxes. I love the magnetic closures. They're much better than the big tuck boxes, and they display nice on your shelves. And we get the big box because we get a big book, so you can't have one without the other. If the boxes were smaller, you'd get a smaller book. So I think we'd lose something there. So I actually give it 4 out of 5 for that one.
So next is diversity / representation. What did you give it?
1. And it got 1 for age. Age diversity is the only aspect of diversity in this book. They're all body beautiful, white. You know, there's not really any representation really of different sexualities, or so I'd just give it 1 for age.
Yeah, I've half a point. If it's just, is there no wizards of color? Is there no larger bodied wizards? Is there no, like, why are they all within society's standards of beauty? Where are there people within the LGBTQ plus community? They're all able-bodied. Like, what? Oh, it's it's just irresponsible to me to.
I thought we'd move beyond this. With tarot that has been released now, I thought we'd moved way beyond this, and this kind of takes us back to where we were 5 years ago.
Yeah, that I think that's why I, looking at the cards, I was kind of like, almost like I didn't want to use it, even if eventually I get it, because there are decks that actually include all of that. I mean, you look at something like the list, This Might Hurt, or the Modern Witch Tarot, and a lot of the other Llewellyn decks that have been released. This takes nothing into account at all of any diversity whatsoever. So yeah, half a star if I, but I'd probably give it no stars. There's no stars to give it for that.
Yeah, well, it's just another deck that adds to the oppressive, prejudiced ideals of society. It's like, what?
I did for age because it wasn't just your hermits and things that you would normally have. There were quite a few older people depicted in the deck, but that was as far, that was the extent of its diversity, really.
Yeah, that was really disappointing.
Yeah.
And next we have the art.
3 out of 5. I think it's a pretty deck. I think it's beautiful. I like the fact it's borderless. It's vibrant. But it's also pretty standard to what we've seen already. It doesn't offer anything new, really. So I give it 3 out of 5.
Yeah, I did as well, for that same reason. Like, it's great artwork, and it's pretty, and it's nice and colourful. But yeah, I feel like I've seen this deck a lot before, and yeah, it's not wowing me, I'll say.
No. I mean, I'll give it a 3 for colour, because I'm all about colour, and there's a lot of colours in there that I really loved in a lot of the images. But yeah, I felt like it's almost with this deck that, and I don't want to be too harsh, but it's like Llewellyn are churning out these decks. And they've been seen and done before. They're unnecessary. It's unnecessary, I think. I look at it as like an unnecessary deck. I think, well, why do I need it? I've got the Everyday Witch, which is far nicer. Yeah, just seems unnecessary.
Okay.
And then we've got individuality.
Readability first, is it?
Oh, sorry. Readability.
Readability, I give it 4. It's RWS. It's easy to read. It's easy to work with the exception of
Yeah, I gave it the same 4. I mean, it's very clearly RWS, sticks pretty closely, pretty true to RWS. Be great for a beginner, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm about the same, kind of about a 3, because yeah, you can't go wrong with something that's RWS, but yeah.
Now, individuality.
Yes.
1.
Oof.
It's not individual at all, is it? Like we said, it's we've seen it so many times. It doesn't stand alone.
Yeah.
It doesn't offer anything new, really. It's just like a continuation of a lot of other Llewellyn decks. So for that, I'd really give it a 1.
Me too. Yeah, it's just disappointing. It could have been something. It's the Wizard's Tarot. I don't know. It's like such a fun subject. You can do so much with that, and the fact that we all pretty much feel like we've seen it before, and it's not wowing. Yeah, it's just like, meh. It's another one to add to the.
Maybe it's, Selk is put, it's a beginner deck for especially teenagers, but yeah, I'm a 1. It's, to me, it's neither here nor there. It's just like a marketing thing, that there's not much thought being put into the actual wonders of the tarot. It's a tarot deck. What is needed in a tarot deck? And they've seemed, for the modern person in 2020, what is needed in a tarot deck? And for me, this doesn't mark anything, doesn't come anywhere near. I mean, you're talking about teenagers. Teenagers are more on the ball when it comes to diversity. They're going to pick that up and think, oh, I don't relate to that.
Yeah.
And then that then blocks intuition, which makes it difficult to read.
Yeah.
Fair point. Yeah.
And then we've got the cardstock.
3, because they've improved, and that needs recognising. It's not indie, but for mass market, previously I'd have given Llewellyn a 1 for their cardstock, because I think it's the poorest of all publishers that are producing tarot now. But they've upped their game, and hats off to them for that. So I gave them a 3 out of 5.
Yeah, I gave them the same again. I really like this cardstock. I'm not really a mass market gal, I'm not gonna lie. So I was kind of was interested by what the cardstock was like, but it's really nice and really great for a riffle shuffle. See if I can do it. But like, it's really nice. That was awful, but you know what I mean. But yeah, it's really nice. It's quite thick and feels really sturdy, and it's all like shiny. Or yeah, it's nice. I like it. I'd give it a 3.
Well done, Llewellyn, for finally.
Yeah, and a lot of people do love the Llewellyn cardstock. I was watching a review of the Wizard's Tarot. I've watched a bunch on YouTube, and some people prefer the thinner the more flexible cardstock. They don't like the matte. A lot of people don't like matte. So if you're a fan of thinner cardstock that's nice and silky to shuffle, then I would imagine you'd be very pleased with that. Yeah.
And the card backs.
1, I've already said, just don't like them. Too busy, too loud, and it's too much for the back of every card.
Yeah.
I don't. I'll give it a 2 maybe. It's a bit of a random image to me.
It
seems like an Ace of Wands or something like that.
Yeah,
it seems like an actual.
Yeah. In my view, it needed something a lot more simple for the backs, because the cards are very colourful. So to have a back that is, like for instance, the Star Tarot, you've got all this bright colour on the cards, and then on the back you've got something that just brings the whole focus to the images on the front. So no, 1 for me for the back.
Would just be really loud.
When it comes to that, less is more, isn't it? Less is more when it comes to backs.
And we've got the wow factor.
Have we?
Don't we? What do we have?
Value for money.
Yeah.
Value for money first.
Oh, sorry. Value for money. We've got value. So is it worth the money?
Yeah, I give it a 3, because for 20 quid, I was pretty impressed. Beautiful book, beautiful box, nicer cardstock. for £20, it's 3 out of 5 for me.
Yeah, I gave it 3 as well. Yeah, like you can't really go wrong with it. It's RWS, got a good book to it, good for beginners. Yeah.
I mean, Llewellyn, their packaging is really top of the game for when you look at all the publishers, really, isn't it? With the magnetic box and everything. So when you buy a Llewellyn deck, you feel like you've money well spent, really, because it is beautifully presented, you know. So yeah, value for money, definitely a 3.5 probably.
And then wow factor for the last point.
A wow factor, I've just gone with 2 stars out of 5. Nothing wowed me that much. It was some cards like, wow, it's beautiful, and I'm wowed by the Llewellyn have improved the card stock, but 2 out of 5 for wow factor. There's nothing that really blew me away.
Yeah, I gave it a 1, to be honest. You know, there's like not any gilding or anything, you know, fancy or extra wow, or it doesn't really, whenever I get a tarot deck, I want it to add a new experience with using the tarot, and I feel like, you know, I can have the same experience with a few other, just not really that wow, to be honest.
No, same for me. It didn't wow me at all, because it feels like this would have been a nice deck 5 years ago, maybe, before creators got more on the ball with embracing different aspects of the human race, which don't appear at all in this. So yeah, no wow factor for me at all. Half.
Okay. We've had a really good suggestion from Ange that said, when it comes to now us choosing our overall scores out of 10, we should write them down on a piece of paper and hold them up at the same time. So shall we do
Excellent. Yeah, I love that. Excellent.
Oh, we doing? Oh, okay. I guess we're doing it now.
Are we doing it now?
Yeah.
Well, I've got to go and get a pen then, in that case.
She's just sitting there puffing away.
I haven't. Where's my pen gone? I did have a pen. Do you seriously want me to get up and
I'll write it on my hand.
Oh, hang on. I'm going to have to go and get a pen.
Oh, for God's sake.
Well, I can't help it. I didn't know I've got to do this, did I? I thought we were doing it for next week.
Next week.
Bear with. Oh.
Join us next week, folks, where you'll have Becca here on her own.
All right, Simon.
What's everyone else saying? Becca farts about in the kitchen.
Oh, she's so
What am I supposed to be writing down?
Your overall score of the deck out of 10.
Oh, okay. Right, overall now.
Yeah, to hold up.
Okay.
Okay.
So we've only got to write the one number down then.
Yes, out of 10. Overall score for the deck. Oh dear. Right, we ready?
Yes.
On 3. 1, 2, 3. 7.
Oh.
7 out of 10. So we got 13 out of 30. That's less than the Hush Tarot. Less than half, because you guys give it 3 out of 10. So 13.
I'm surprised you went that high, 7.
Yes, so am I. No, I can't excuse those things about it.
But when you look
mental block.
All the 10 areas that we've done, beautiful box, beautiful book, although I don't go into specifics that well or easy to find. Card stock's improved. Just don't like the backs, and I don't like the lack of diversity. So I just thought, yeah, 7 is fair.
I can't get past the other things though. That's like block.
Yeah. Okay, so we're now moving on to the giveaway.
Even Elizabeth's like, what, Simon?
What?
You
All
what?
right, Elizabeth.
It's giveaway time, people.
So we've got 2 Hush Tarot decks to give away. Oh, where's this? There it is.
Is Sandra ready? Oh, yes, she's put ready.
Ooh.
Okay. So, Sandra, can you pull a number for us? It is between 1 and 23, and L has the numbers written against the names. So, when you're ready for the first one.
Just play
18.
some elevator music at this point.
Debbie Doobie Doo Bumblebee is the
Oh,
first
Debbie.
winner. Big up, Debbie. Is Debbie here?
Woo!
I don't know if I've seen Debbie, but she's won.
Yeah, so Debbie, well done, Debbie. And then our second one.
We'll have to speed this up a bit for next time. Can you know? No, we've done 18, Sandra, but there's another one. Unless
Yeah, we'll
give them both
two.
to Debbie.
I can't even see Sandra saying 18 again.
Oh, she's 10, number 10.
10.
Why am I not getting this? Oh, there it is. 10.
Oh, who is 10? Apuvra.
Approver.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. Well done, Debbie and Approver. So you both get a copy of the Hush Tarot. If you could send a message or post underneath, but the best way to do it, I suppose, because they can't put their address into a public place. So if
No,
you
I mean I've got Debbie on Glide, so she could glide one of her address. I don't have the other one though.
Oh,
Yeah,
Apuva's here.
there. Yay, well done. So are you in the Hermit's Cave or Becca's Facebook group? Because if you are, then send a private message in there with your address and we'll get it out to you. Okay, so just before we go then, we've had a bit of a conflab, and we've decided that we're going to move the Tarot Times. We was going with the last Monday of every month, and whilst we're on lockdown, that's kind of working. But we're conscious as well that there's a lot of people who watch this that are in the States and it's their working day. So I know, like Jen earlier, she could only come during her lunchtime, and loads of people are missing it. So we think it would be better at the weekend. And weekends are very busy. So I'm going to not do a couple of catch-up cards on the last Saturday of each month. Instead, we will do the Tarot Times, 4 p.m. UK time, which would normally be a couple of catch-up. It's only one a month I'll be missing. Becca gives up one of her Fridays every month to do the Literary Witches with Kelly. So I thought it would be nice to do that. So it will be the last Saturday of the month rather than the last Monday, just so that people can all attend once we're back to the new normal and we're going to work and things like that. I work full time and it can be a bit of a rush as well. So so the new date, so that takes us to Saturday the 30th of May for Tarathon. It's the day before Tarathon is what I was going to say. Saturday the 30th of May is the day before. Good plan. People are liking that idea. Sounds good. So yeah, Saturday the 30th of May, 4 p.m. during one of the couple of card slot, day before Tarathon. And the deck that we're going to be reviewing next month, that we're going to be working with throughout all of May, is the Shadowland Tarot by Monica Lewinsky. It's a really popular deck. I've only done an initial first impressions. So by then I'll have worked with it as well, and we'll be able to do that 5-star rating. We'll be able to talk about book, box, design, cardstock, and everything else. in those 10 categories that we've just mentioned. So there will be a giveaway as well, because there'll be one giveaway this time, I believe, because there's only Elle who really doesn't like the deck enough to want to keep it. So there'll be one copy of the Wizards Tarot to give away. We're not going to change anything in this video that's up now. After it's uploaded, which will be in about 10 hours time, again, as long as the words "enter me" are within your comment, you will be entered into the giveaway for the Wizards Tarot next month. So yeah, there might not be a giveaway the month after, because I've just got a feeling everybody's going to love the Shadowland Tarot. But you never know. You never know until everybody works with it and has their own thoughts about it. Say it again, Simon. What do you want? What do you want me to say again? What bit? Anything else, guys? Anything you want to say before we go?
I don't think so. It was. I mean, I was going to say though, there might be 2 copies of the Wizards Tarot. It just depends, but that won't make any difference. You know, on the day we can say, oh, there's 1 or 2. So, people can still enter the same, can't they?
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Look at that face.
Oh.
Oh, he's frozen. But
can someone screenshot that for me? Just send
yeah,
it to
please do.
Oh,
So,
poor old Simon. Where is
but fortunately, we were just about to wrap things up anyway.
Are we able to wrap it up, or does he have to be the one to?
No, we can wrap it up. He's gone out of the studio, so we can leave the studio, and Simon will then cancel the live. So thanks, everybody. This has been pretty awesome. And we'll see you next time, the 30th of May, which is the Saturday, 4 p.m. in the Cuppa Catch Up and Card slot on Simon's slot. So thanks, everybody, and we'll see you all next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh no, but now they've left me and I don't know how to end it. Oh no. Am I still live? I don't know how you do this. Am I actually still live? If they just left me? Have they left? Oh my god, they've fully left me. What do I do? Can someone come back and help me? What is going on? The L show. No, let's not have the L show. Let's have the end of the live show. Have you've stitched me right up. I don't. Well, guys, you're going to be on a journey on how to end this with me. What do I do? What do I even do? Oh no. Oh wow. Yeah, laugh, Becca and Simon, and oh my god. Oh, hold on. I can see a leave button now. Well, thanks for joining me on my little end segment here. I'm gonna go. Bye.
I found I'm back in. I can end it now. So my internet dropped. Sorry guys, it's back up. So now I can actually go. There's only me that can end it because I'm the host. So hi Witcher Whimsy. This was entertaining, and 80 people are still hanging around just to see this ending. Right, bye everybody. See you next month. Have a good rest of the week.